Welcome to AT Vision, powered by Quad Off-Road Magazine. This Motosode brought to you by MotoWorks. It's our mid-season highlight reel. Rounds 1 through 6 are in the books of the AMA Pro ATV Motocross Championship. We started at Glen Helen in California, worked our way to Alabama, and then Ballance Mx just outside of Bowling Green, Kentucky, then Birchcreek Motorsports in Virginia, and then we toured through the Midwest with a stop at Sunset Ridge in Illinois. And our last round of the series took place at Steel City Raceway just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There's your points. Joe Bird has a one-moto lead over Dustin Wimmer in the standings. Wimmer has been hurt, and the Kawasaki boys, Wienen and Kramer, are right in the hunt as well. Let's look at the highlights from round number 1 at Glen Helen, headed into the Talladega first turn. It's fast, it's wide, it's steep, and it's one of those Kawasaki's out front. Kramer grabbing the very first MotorcycleUSA.com $250 hole shot of the year. Defending champ Wimmer was able to make some moves, temporarily got around Kramer for the number 1 spot, but the man from New England would not be denied, putting Monster Energy Kawasaki up front in the first moto of the season ahead of Wimmer and former champion Bird. Moto 2, Wimmer was not going to let it happen again. He showed everyone why he has the number 1 plate on his machine, checking out early and leaving everyone behind. Bird takes second in the moto, Kramer third. That gives Wimmer the overall. Next up, FMF ATV Spring Nationals at Mill Creek. Kramer goes down hard early in Moto 1. Scratch him from contention in this one. But honestly, there were no contenders for Wimmer, who was on his game in Pell City, Alabama. Great action behind the man from Pennsylvania who is leading the way. There's John Natale on the Can-Am, battling out with Bird, Josh Upperman, and a bunch of other riders going at it, including Chad Wienen, who eventually would succumb to mechanical troubles, as would Natale. Bird would log a consistent ride, as would Upperman, a young rider who's learning to finish on the podium and hopes to win a race soon. But it was Wimmer out front in that one. Upperman, another great start in Moto 2. He would have pressure from Wimmer early. He would do his best to hold the defending series champ back there, but eventually Wimmer would zero in on the number 20 and then take the lead using a very creative outside line, moving him into the number 1 spot. Fatigue would get the better of Upperman, allowing Bird and veteran John Natale to move up to the number 3 spot. Natale with some bad luck. It's pretty far back in points, though. Round 3, Ballance Mx, just outside of Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's Bird grabbing the MotorcycleUSA.com hole shot award. Look at the 44 of Wienen, who has been a victim of mechanical troubles in race after race, is right there in the hunt, though this time, battling with his old teammate Wimmer for the number 2 position behind Bird. Great action between these 3 riders up front. They are all considered championship contenders. Bird holds on to take the moto victory. Wienen holds off Wimmer. So we've got a new pecking order at the top of the field. Moto 2, Jeremy Lawson grabs the hole shot on his Can-Am. Soon Bird would get around him and try to duplicate his first moto success. Wimmer was off his game on this day. He had to battle not only with Lawson, but eventually Wienen for the number 2 and 3 spots. Look at Wienen carving through traffic to move up and then eventually catch and then quite easily pass Wimmer for the number 2 spot. Bird goes 1-1 on the day, reestablishing himself as a man to beat in this series. And that momentum continued at Birchcreek. Look at he and Wienen battling through the first couple of corners with Wimmer back there. These 3 have quickly proven themselves to be the fast 3 of this field, as Kramer is still struggling with injuries after a bunch of crashes. Great action here. Wienen, though, holds on for his very first moto victory of the season. Wimmer and Bird round out the top 3. Bird has trouble getting his quad started on the line for Moto 2, but it didn't stop him from grabbing a hole shot with steam pouring out. And then Wimmer and Wienen went to work again, battling behind Bird. Look at this action. And you've also got Kramer back there in 4th, trying to stay close. Wimmer was determined to show that he's still the boss in this series. Watch him get around Wienen and then go after Bird in a great outside-inside combination. The rockstar Yoshimura Suzuki rider back out front. He wins a dramatic moto and further extends his series points lead. But it would not last. An injury training for this race at Sunset Ridge. Wimmer out for this event, and that allows Wienen to pick up the slack in his home state of Illinois. He holds off his teammate Kramer, who eventually would have to deal with pressure from Wimmer's teammate Doug Gust, and also Jeremy Lawson, who was in the hunt. Kawasaki's definitely coming on strong mid-season. Wienen wins the moto, Lawson second, and his fellow Kawasaki rider Kramer in third. Here we are in a moto number 2. Lawson desperately wants to show that he can beat Wienen and win a race. A great start. He keeps the Kawasaki rider in check for the majority of the second moto. They are going to battle for the overall, but then Lawson breaks an axle. Wienen takes the victory, Upperman and Natali in the top 3. Then our latest race at Steel City, a dramatic return for Wimmer after the dislocated shoulder. Meanwhile, up front, Cody Miller battling with Kramer, who is also back to 100% after a series of injuries. Well, Kramer checked out with his first moto victory since the opener at Glen Helen. Look at Wienen coming through the pack, challenging Wimmer, challenging Gust, Miller, and the rest of the Can-Am boys out front. Eventually, he would bulldog his way into the number 2 spot, and that would make it a monster Kawasaki 1-2 sweep. Bird will also get in this action. He would get around the veteran rival Gust to take third in the moto and further extend his series points lead over Wimmer, who is fighting just to stay in the top 10. A very muddy moto number 2, but whether it was dry or muddy, it did not stop Kramer from making moves. Got around Josh Upperman to take the lead in moto 2, and he would win it just like he did moto 1 for his first overall victory of the season. Wienen had his hands full battling with Gust, who is doing his best to try to hold his teammates' championship rivals back. Great racing here in the mud in moto 2, but there was simply no stopping the number 9, the New Englander, out front. Look at the determination of Gust riding without goggles in the mud, battling with Bird, battling with Wienen. Down the stretch, though, Upperman, who said he's been working on his endurance, would find a whole new dose of speed. He would nearly run Kramer down in the waning laps of this one. Expect Upperman to be a contender as this series unfolds in the second half. That's your results from Steel City, and here are the points. Bird's been consistent, but honestly, with Wimmer out, he has not been able to get that Honda into victory lane. We'll see who strikes back. Our next race, June 14th, the legendary Unadilla in upstate New York. We'll cover that Wednesday, June 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern right here on Quad. It's all brought to you by MotoWorks. For everyone here, I'm Jason Wygand. Enjoy your second half of the tour.
Up your way is Canada. How'd you come into United States ATV racing? Sorry, I gotta start again. How about, I'm sorry, screwed up again. Okay, I'm ready. And then okay, one more time. Fast forward to now you're in the pro class and you're really furthering your, sorry, one more time. I'm so bad at this. Okay. Now in the pro class, now in the pro.
We got the truck here on time and it was clean and everything went real well. The weather held off good and the mountains are pretty. Thank you.
J'espère pouvoir faire d'autres courses pour prendre de l'expérience et faire de bons résultats. Okay, what's your name?
Dan, you have quite an involvement in the Joe quad riding. Joe, okay, now you're right.
You're gazing
right.
into my eyes.
I
That's
know,
what the
you're
problem
getting
is.
me. Your blue eyes were getting me.
Well, let's start over on that one.
Okay. How does that relationship affect you? And where was I going with this again? Josh, I'm sorry. Josh, hey Josh. Try again. Josh, you're working with American Honda Baldwin Motorsports. So what makes it the one more time.
Can you stand a little closer, actually, a little bit? All right, I'm not that close.
This close?
Okay.
And the engines at, I'm screwed up now, I can't think.
Thomas, tell us a little bit about how you got hooked. What do you think about the Pirates?
The Pirates. I'm glad that they all got sniped. I hope they killed the other one too.
Last year, you were the ATV Racing's first amateur sponsored rider via factory support. Tell us what that meant to you in Pro-Am class.
It meant a lot. I got a lot of girls out of the deal. It's a pretty cool deal.
Other than the girls, what did you get out of it?
Got a lot of help. I actually got a title, so it just whole helped out a lot. That sucked. That was horrible.
The whole helped out a lot?
Yeah, that's where I know I went really wrong. And it's kind of like,
Thomas, you were.
All right, really, okay.
Okay. What did that mean to you in the Pro-Am class?
Oh, it meant a lot. It helped me out, you know, just all this. I don't even know what to say to that one. So, you want to do an interview, huh?
No, not really.
So, can I pick you up around 8?
We just have to get some good footage of her with the mic.
So, hi!